is traded. First of all, your thoughts on that trade and where you as a head coach go from here.
Well, I don't think my thoughts differ from anybody else. I think we're all disappointed to see him leave. As I mentioned, Peter alluded to that in his press conference, and it stings for everybody. He was a good player, he was a good person, very well liked, and unfortunately our game is in that position where sometimes we're forced to make those unpopular decisions, and for our coaching staff, we'll miss him like everybody else, but we have a job to do, and we feel we have a lot of good players here that we can certainly overcome this, and that's just the way it goes, and part of hockey, and part of a tough day that we hope we'll be able to turn the page here, and then by the time we start the season, we'll be ready to go.
How crucial will the experience that the young D's got in last year's playoffs apply to what they're able to do with this team this season, which is now ratcheted up?
Well, it's certainly going to help. I think, Mick, there's no doubt that the experience that those young guys got was valuable. But at the same time, we got to remember that we've got Seidenberg, McQuaid back in our lineup, which is two more veterans. That certainly helps that youth maybe not be so young. So those are things, but the guys that did get that experience, you talk about Bartkowski, you talk about Krug, Dougie Hamilton, I think those things will certainly pay off for us.
You like consistency, Coach. At this point with Johnny going, who do you think you can see playing with size?
Well, I think that we'll kind of experience with that. I mean, we might try something and hopefully it works. If it doesn't, we'll find something else. But at the end of the day, Joe, I think we've got enough good Ds that we can move around and have a solid six-man D every night. So that's where we're at right now. We have a Seidenberg that can play left or right and has done that his whole career. So, I think we're going to be in decent shape here.
Are you looking at developing another guy that can possibly do that last season? The end of last season, Peter hinted that he might be a guy that can develop that way because of his hands and vision.
You talk about playing on his offside?
Eventually get there.
Absolutely. I mean, there's a lot of guys that, today that were brought up playing a certain position and then they hesitate a little bit, and those are becoming a little bit more rare as I guess the new generations come in. They get used to playing that position. So there are still some in the league that don't mind one side or the other, but for the most part, a lot of them like to play their strong sides. I think Europeans are the ones that a lot of times from up front or on the back end don't mind playing their off wings here, but I think with time those things will work themselves out. But right now we got sides that can play both, and we've got 4 lefties and we got 3 rights right now that are here, and so as we speak it works out well that way.
Claude, how do you handle as a coach, obviously a very tight group in there, this close to the season, kind of like you said, turning the page and getting them ready to focus?
Well, I think, as I mentioned earlier, it stings for everybody. It stung for me too, and the coaching staff, and even we were quiet, and that doesn't mean we don't support. We obviously support our organization and understand why they had to make some of those tough decisions, but it doesn't mean that this thing isn't there. And I addressed the team before the game and explained to them that we still have a good group here, and that those things happen and everything else. And I just kind of wanted to make sure that we were ready to play tonight. And it's always a good thing in a way that we don't start the regular season until Wednesday. It's going to give us a little bit of time to process that, like anything else, and we'll be ready to move forward here by the time the puck drops on Wednesday night.
Coach, was it more of a somber scene maybe in the room, other than guys all fired up about it?
Yeah, no, I think when you look at our game, our guys went out there and played hard, and I think we were fine as a group, but it's just that it just happened. It's like anything else. When you hear the news for the first time, it stings a little bit, but the guys are professional enough. I thought they handled it well. They went out there and they just played hard, and I congratulate them for that, and they deserve a lot of credit for it.
We'll take 2 more questions. I'm sorry. Tonight, David Krejci came out in the second.
He had something very, very minor, and you will be coming on a trip with us as well. We just decided not even to try and push it in case it could have got worse, but there won't be any issues there.
When will you decide to make the final decisions and let guys know?
You had a chance to talk to Peter, didn't you, at 4:30? You had your chance there, because he's the one that's going to make those final decisions for you.
Where you guys going? Where you guys going?
Out of town.
Thanks, everybody.